A little bit successful. Oh man. Elon Musk believes Doge was a little bit successful. That's hilarious. Alright, we need to edit this. Okay. Whoops. Hey. Complaining while we design a measuring cup in Blender. Okay. Save. Is the stream working? Yeah, I guess, maybe. Still figuring out how to edit stuff. Just listening to Fox News, just my favorite things to critique. When I want to laugh, I listen to Fox News. I don't know if you guys can hear them. But you guys let me know if that's annoying. But dang, really, when I want to laugh, I just turn on Fox News. I listen to their thoughts. It is absolute insanity. Most of it. You know, as I say, a lot of times they know something's going on. They just have the wrong reasons why something's messed up. How do I change? How do I edit YouTube? Huh? Can I edit our title on YouTube? Dual stream automatically generate a vertical version. Oh, that's interesting. Is there something I need to pause this stream for? Let's see. He is fired. What happens here? Will the administration nominate somebody to take her place, or is there a way to keep her from being in the next FOMC meeting that we just talked about? Well, she's fired. She should have voted. Just trying to edit stuff. We're gonna get started here real soon. How you guys doing? Again, I'm sorry. I'm just listening to Fox News while we do this. My lady wants a measuring cup, which we're gonna do real quick in Blender tonight. Show you guys how to do that. There are versions that you can make, that you can download online. Channels, but I think it's cool if you also kind of learn how to do your own. And there's a bunch of different ways you could do it. You know, you can make anything into a measuring cup. Here we got Sophia, I think her name is, the monkey. And it's low poly right now. But if we're going to be making a measuring cup, we're going to be making it from a cylinder, right? So we're going to add in, and now let me turn on screencasting here, so you can see what's going on. And is there a reason we can't see? We cannot see chat. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to restart this just so we can see chat come up.
We saw several governors for trading violations in the past years, and the Fed did a very
Let's see. Let me try to restart this. That does not make sense. We should be seeing chat here.
Federal Reserve operation, monetary policy, regulatory policy, staffing, regional reserve banks, and the like. Tell us about that. This sounds like a blueprint for a new Trump-oriented 50 years. We never saw a post-examination of why things were wrong.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. All right, let me know if you can hear me. And I'll keep coming in and out. My bad. How you guys doing? Now we get to see chat. Just want to make sure because, you know, although I know nobody's gonna come into here to see this, but let's see what's going on here. Again, I don't know if you can hear. I have Fox News playing here. It's just something I like to play when I need to laugh at something. All right, so we got Suzanne here, the monkey, and we are going to add a mesh, and the mesh is going to be a cylinder, and the cylinder is very small. This is all really small. All right, we're gonna want this to be smooth, right? So we need to go ahead and add some more vertices to the circumference of the cylinder, so that when we scale this up, it's going to be smoother. And if you know the formula for volume here, the formula here is like the volume is equal to pi r squared times height, right? So our radius here, we got the radius. My wife wants this kind of small, probably 4 centimeters maybe. So let's do 20 millimeters, and that'll be 4 centimeters. And when it comes to depth, that'll be the height, and we could probably do 5 or something. Oop. And we're gonna have to do 50 multiply by the 10 millimeters. So that looks pretty good, I think. Let's find Suzanne here. Okay. Now Suzanne is not necessary here, but as I was saying, you can make a measuring cup out of anything. You know, if you really wanted to, you can really make it out of anything, right? So you could take that, and you could just boolean it out of Suzanne here. Boom, and there you go. Now you have a monkey, and that can be a candle holder, or that can be your measuring cup. So there's a lot of ways to do this. What I'm going to be doing, since my wife needs this for school, for her for her students. All right, we're gonna make this into something that she can use to fill in, just to fill some stuff out. Apparently she's gonna be using this as a scoop so that she can show the kids like how much of this volume makes, you know, fills up some other container or whatever, you know, it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to be doing here is trying a few things. Maybe we'll delete this face. All right, and we have this thing here, and I wanted to try to do a solidify modifier on this actually. So let's see what happens if you do that. Solidify. We're gonna make this positive, and you know, like 1 millimeter is fine. And then let's apply it and let's see what does that give us. That gives us some nice structure here. This is gonna be what, 1 millimeter? It should be 1 millimeter if thing went right. So yes. Now, is that enough really for a measuring cup, for the wall of a measuring cup? You should always have your caliper so you can check this out in real life. Yeah, that's probably good. One millimeter. Now, since the printer does build things with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, that means everything is gonna have. That means that everything that you print is gonna have usually should be divisible by 0.4 if we're talking about width of skins. So maybe we'll crank this up to 1.2. That'll be divisible by the 0.4, and we'll have like decent, you know, organization of the layer walls. Now your printer will print smaller, but it'll crush the walls in a bit. And if you have a modern printer, it'll do some flow regulation to make sure that it's not like insane. All right, so go ahead and jump in. Like if you need some help in Blender, you jump in, you let me know if you need help. I think YouTube might be a little laggy. Let me know if YouTube's not working out great. But what's going on with you guys? What do you guys want to talk about? We're just doing a real chill stream. Oh, we figure out how to make a measuring cup. We're gonna go ahead and apply this modifier in object mode. So you can see how useful that modifier is. There are other ways to do this. You know, you could draw 2 circles and extrude them out. This is going to make a, you see, this is going to make an actual solid piece. If you were to just extrude, you're gonna have to merge the bottom vertices so you can actually create a wall here at the bottom. You see? So there's 100 ways to do this. I hope you know what I mean here. You know, if you want me to show you, you could do mesh and you can do a couple circles. You can do a circle here, right there. Let's go here, scale this. All right, and then you could like duplicate and, you know, scale down a bit. All right, you can grab both of these, go into edit mode. All right, all, and then hit like join or something. Not join, union maybe. Let's see, because we kind of want these to be one object. Union? Not Union either. Probably just take these and just like extrude it. Lock it on an axis with the middle roller, right? And then from here, you're gonna have to like take some of these. Okay. Wireframe and then like pull it down a bit. You see what I mean? And then maybe grab the bottom ones. Yeah. Figure out how to do that. And then fill, F for fill. Same thing with the outer one, F for fill. And then maybe grab these. And the issue with doing this is that it's going to want to fill in the whole thing here. And you can't even really like delete the inside. See, I don't know if you delete that face. Nah, you see? What you have to do is just like join half of them at a time. All right, just like that. And then fill that. And even that doesn't work well. What you could probably do is grab 4 at a time here, at least. And fill. Right. And I'll tell you why this is probably happening, because these are 2 separate objects. Go. Oops, gonna make manifold. I want to go Control J or something. Join these guys. There you go. So Control J, and then let's try to experiment with that. Okay, so we fill that, and there you go. Now half of it is filled, and then we do the same thing with the other side. Fill that there, and that's how you would get to the same basic shape as what I did over here. But you see how much longer that took, and that's why the solidify modifier is so powerful. Because instead of having to go in and actually merge all these things and make sure it's the same object or whatever, and then, you know, and then there's other ways to do this. You could take a cylinder, then draw a circle, right? There's another way to do this if you want to see. This is good for a whole bunch of other things. You know, this is all useful information, I guess. Okay, you could take the top of the cylinder, grab all the vertices here, hit I for inset, and bring this in. Okay, and then let's go into wireframe mode, and then what we're going to do is extrude downward, right? You can extrude down, and then let's see, you know, good enough, whatever, solid. And then there is another way of doing it, right? And that was a little bit faster than making it from scratch there. So you can see there's 1,000 ways. What do they say? There's 100 ways to skin a cat. I don't know why people say that. It's so weird. So there's a bunch of ways to do the same thing. So I wouldn't be worried if I were you. You're going to find your own style of using Blender, and that's all super cool, right? That's the thing I like about Blender, is because there's a bunch of ways of doing stuff. You know, it's like art. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make the handle. How do we make the handle? And where do we position the handle? If you're going to be 3D printing something like this, obviously the best way to 3D print this would be for it to be standing like this, right? Where the floor is here at the bottom, and it's going to print, and it's going to print circular, and it's going to go up, and then you're going to have the open portion on top, right? You can print this upside down like that, and that can work, but you're going to have either two things happen. So you're going to either need support for this ceiling basically now. So you'll either have normal support or tree support, which wastes material, but that does work. Or you can not use support, right? And then just have the printer float the print. Like, it'll print and it'll just go across and it'll create a bridge. It's called bridging in 3D printer lingo, right? So it'll create a bridge, and depending on the material, really, it'll either it'll either collapse or it'll be like okay, right? It'll create some kind of like either a little bit of blobbing or just stretched out filament, and the filament won't be flat because it's not being pressed on anything. It's going to be kind of like a tube until it builds that first couple of layers, right? And then it'll print on top of that, and it'll print basically normally. But you're going to have to expect some kind of like not circular, but like just tubular like filament. The filament will be like tube-like, and it'll be across. A lot of it will be across, which, depending on what you're doing, like, it might be okay, right? If my wife is using this she said she was going to use this for beans, right? And grains of rice. Like, beans and grains of rice aren't going to get stuck in this, or won't get stuck in there. But if it's something like sand, really tiny particles like powder or flour and stuff, that's going to get stuck in those little crevices that it creates. So depending on what you're printing, you're going to want to print it, facing upward with the thing on top. There's a few ways to get around it. You can print this. You can print the cup and the hand and the handle in different parts, and then like glue them together or something. I've seen that happens. Or you can print with the handle at the bottom and just have the scoop at the top, which is all right. So we're going to add some loop cuts here, and we really don't need that many. We may need 2. Actually, probably just need 1, but let's just do 2. And let's say we're gonna have the handle at the bottom. 3 millimeters. Let's bring that up a bit. 3 millimeters. Once again, let's look at our caliper here. And 3 millimeters, like, it's thick. Probably doesn't need to be that thick. It could probably be like 2 millimeters. And we'll do some design features to make sure that is stiff enough. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna decide where we want our. Okay, I'm gonna have it here on the side. So let's just look at it on the side. Let's just make this solid. And I'm gonna grab. Let's see here. Each one of these little blocks is a millimeter. So we're gonna have. That's about 3.5 millimeters. These are kids though, so maybe we make it like 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll check what does 5 look like here. 5 is not too bad. Does somebody come in? It's my father pulling in. My dad's visiting us. That's cool. He might be dropping off some food or something. All right, so we have 5 mils, and we're going to go ahead and just extrude it outwards. Hit E for extrude and extrude it outwards. Now, something weird is happening. It's at an angle, right? Which means we didn't grab the vertices we wanted, right? So let's Control Z that, and we'll try again. Now, I do like that it's going to be grabbing. I do like that it's going to be grabbing the circumference, like that curved mesh. So that's cool. So what we'll do is you see what I did? I took, views are important in Blender. It helps you. So you can see I'm looking into it in wireframe mode, and that's going to be like key for making sure that you've got the, you know, your correct vertices, right? And then also in wireframe mode, it's also called X-ray mode, so that you can, when you select, you see as I selected, it just selected all of those vertices. But then you can go in and you can press C, and I have it quick mapped onto my mouse here. You can see my mouse has, see, like a bunch of buttons on the side, and that makes it so that I can do these quick motions, these quick keys, right? So let's hit E for extrude. Let's bring it out. Bam. Okay. Let's hit solidify so you can see something's inside here, which is interesting. Oh yes, it's the inside of the thing. All right, so again, that's why your views are important, so you can see what's going on. Press C. C gives you this C, right? For me, I have it quick swap to number 6 on my mouse, right? It gives you this circular thing that you can like make bigger or smaller, and you can select or deselect, and you don't even have to hit Control to gather all of the vertices. Anyway, so we'll try again, and let's make this solid mode. And what's funny is that you can kind of do this, right? You can kind of just stretch it instead of extruding it, and that'll also do something, right? And that's kind of why I wanted this portion. Let me you see, that's why I wanted this loop cut here, so that I actually could make could give it a little bit of more reinforcement, since we're making this thing, let's see, only 2 millimeters tall. And in fact, I might want to just make it a little bit bigger, because this is going to be for kids and stuff, and we're making this measuring cup. So we'll bring this up to 3 millimeters. Sounds good. Let's grab our 5 millimeters of material here. That's just 4. Let's just go one more. Okay. You press C to deselect this stuff. Okay. And let's bring it out. Let's deselect this top portion so that we have that supporting loop cut. All right, so we bring that out. You see how it's still grabbing the top? Because I keep forgetting to deselect the internal loop. Okay, we just want to stretch out that external loop. There you go. That looks better. And how long should we have this? Should we have this like 4 millimeters? Again, I'm always checking the caliper, man. The calipers are clutch, dude. Okay, so I have to imagine myself. I'm holding that. I've got the cup over there. All right, that kind of makes sense. It's like 5 or 6. Let's just do 6. And each one of these is 10 10 millimeters, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 60, that's 6 centimeters. Okay. Now I could just leave it. Let's go solid. I could just leave it with this thing. What do you guys think? I could leave it with this. Let's pull up chat so I can see you guys. What's going on? How you guys doing? How's your night? You guys bored? I can, we could talk about other stuff. Like I said earlier, like I was listening to Fox News earlier just because I like to have a laugh, at what they're saying. It's always a joke. Life is tough. Okay, so we could have this slant at the top, right? And that's going to add material for reinforcement. So this will be kind of beefy. This will be chunky enough to hold a good amount of material. And considering that this is over here, this is going to be the opening on top. That's going to help stabilize whatever's inside, because they're going to be scooping up beams or whatever, right, and filling up something else. And in fact, I think we need to like beef this up. Like this is decent. Kind of looks like a pipe, right? You want to smoke on this thing. Don't do that. I didn't say that. Anyway, I almost want to create like a thumb tab here, because this will be floppy. Since this is going to be top heavy, this will be floppy in your hand. So it's important to think about, how the user is going to be using this, even if it is kids. Let's go ahead and add a loop cut. You can do this a couple of ways. You can hit Control R, and it doesn't look right, because we've stretched this thing out and stuff. So it's always good to, in Blender, go into object mode and then hit Control A so you can apply rotation and scale. And then we can kind of see what's going on here, And I know you could get away with stuff like this, but the other way to do it is just to go to your side view, go to whatever view you want to do, and you can just hit K for cut, right? And then and hit C. Hit C. I don't know if you can see at the bottom. C will say cut through, so that you can cut through the entire thing. So hit cut through. We're gonna click. Yeah. I need to get out of this. Okay, there we go. Make sure that you're in that view. K for cut. Click. And then what we're going to do is hit C. And then we're also going to hit Z so that we can lock our cut on that axis, and then click and then drag. Click again, right click, enter. That took me a little bit to figure out, so I wanted to make that clear for you guys. Now you'll be able to highlight that cut, and then you can hit GG, good game, and you can just drag that across from your thing. Hello, my cat is here. How you doing? Did you want to say hi? You want to say hi to the stream? You gonna take a look at her? She's purring. It's a ragdoll. She's such a cute cat, right? And you're so friendly. You're such a friendly kitty, huh? Aren't you? I know she's purring here. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Of course you can. Huh? Yay. I wasn't always a cat. This is my first cat. I wasn't always a cat person. I have dogs. My whole family has dogs. We all have dogs. But my daughter actually wanted a cat. And then we got her a cat. And these cats are expensive. We paid $1,600 for this cat. That was a year ago, right? But such a cute cat. Look, she's got like a butt on her face, or like a heart. My wife says it's a heart, but it actually kind of looks like a butt right there. It's a little spiky now. It looked better when you were a little kitty, but she's 1 year old, aren't you? That's a cute cat. All right, you do what you want to do. All right, so you can press GG, like I said, to move this thing around. Right now there's like, I don't know, that's at the 1 centimeter mark. All right, so I think what I'll do is make it like 2.5 and make like a thumbtack or something. What do you guys think? 2.5? That's a bit. Maybe 2 is fine. 2 millimeters is fine. I got cat hair in my mouth now. Oh my god. Ugh. Ugh. Blah. Anyway, so here we've got our base now for this. And then there's some things we could do here. You could either grab these and either extrude them out into some sort of thumb tab, I guess. I'm telling you, X-ray mode is the shit, man. Okay, so extrude and then right click. So I just extruded and those vertices do exist, but I right click so it snaps them back, right? We're gonna scale in the Y direction. Okay, we'll bring them out a bit. All right, there. It kind of looks like a plane or something. I don't know what's going on with this anymore. Anyway, that kind of it's getting there. It's getting there. You know, it's all. I do like that it's already like it's already like beveled a bit, you know, so the kids aren't like touching something too sharp, whatever. Anyway, let's grab these internal ones, right? And we'll just like stretch them, right? There you go. And we'll create some sort of pentagon here, right? That's some sort of pentagon, you know. Don't look too hard. All right, so that's not too bad. You know, things are a little funky here, but that's okay. You know, we can grab these vertices and pull them over here. Go into wireframe mode again, grab all of these, then hit scale X and 0, right? And that'll line these up like that. It takes the average and it lines them up. All right, solid mode again. All right, and does this look solid to us? It doesn't look too bad. This is a little funky here. This thing. And just because we have a line here. Okay. Okay, can we do a loop cut or something? And maybe we'll just like grab these. All right, I made this loop cut so I can try to make this stuff flat, right? I'm gonna click on these vertices, and up in the corner of your blender, it's sometimes it's nice to have if you can see these 2 dots, and it kind of looks like a lip, honestly. The auto merge vertices. Okay, so if you click on your vertice and then double tap G, so GG, right? You can slide across the line that it's on, right? But if you go all the way over and you hit the other vertice and click, it'll auto merge these vertices together, right? So then now when I drag these vertices, it's one vertice again. Okay, so that's a nice easy way for getting vertices to merge, and so that they're not like on top of each other, because they can be on top of each other and like invisible, and then you'll like never know, and then you'll have problems with having things manifold or watertight, and then you try to print with that, and then that's just gonna screw you up. Anyway, so let's grab our things again, and what are we gonna do? That's right, we're gonna go scale X 0, enter. All right, and here we have this little bump here, which is cool. I don't know. That's kind of cool. I don't know. You could even like bring this out a bit and make it like an arrow or something. That's not too bad looking, honestly. Not too bad. We're just playing around with it, you know. You know, just go with the flow here. So I really like Blender. If I didn't say that already like 1,000 times. All right, so let's grab these. Let's go X, scale X0 and scale Z0. And then just for good measure, I'm gonna grab all of these vertices that I know should be on the same plane. And then hit scale Z0. And that'll make sure that it's all flat. Okay, that is useful for 3D printing because remember, we're going to be printing this side down. This side is going to be flat on the ground. All right. So if you're going to be printing this on a 3D printer, you need this thing to be flat. Like it actually has to be flat, or else you're going to print it and it's going to tell you, oh, there's floating areas and it's going to need support. And this is not the area that you want support on. You want that to be actually flat. All right, so let's grab all the bottom, and I know it's already flat, but we're gonna go ahead just for you guys. We can go scale Z0, enter, and that's gonna make sure it's flat so that you can print that. You could also grab these, and if you have loop tools, you can hit flatten on the loop tools, and that should also make them flat, although sometimes it doesn't, and then you got to go in anyway and do it manually like that. All right, but we should be good here. And I don't know, what do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Let's click it and let's go to make manifold, and you can see it deleted an edge and it deleted a face. So we had a face and an edge overlapping, and it deleted it for us, which is clutch. And yeah, that's useful. And there is our measuring cup. Now we said earlier that it's